again. Hello, everybody. This is Walter, and I'm filming this video so you can understand this is a different type of video than what I've done before. Today, I want to make it a little bit different. That I want to talk about haunted stories. Yes, that's right. You heard me say that. It's about haunted stories. And believe it or not, I've never shared this with anyone before. Only as of recently with 3 other people. The reason why I am sharing this with you guys here in my audience, because normally I talk about business and about my website regarding my 2 businesses that I like to share with you guys. But today, like I said, I want to talk about, one particular haunted story in comparison to other haunted stories that I will have as a series along the way. So just to let you know, this is just the first one of many that I want to share with you that happened to me. Like I said, I've never shared this with anyone, only as of today. And like I said, it was just recently I started sharing this with 3 other people, but that's why I want to share this number one, the first haunted story of a couple that are coming, and that's why I want to share it here, which I think is here on YouTube is a perfect platform to do so. So let's just get right to it. That the first haunted story that I experienced was when I was living this was back in Long Beach, California, in like around, I would say, April of 2009. And it was a place, this is, like I said, a long time ago. It was a place, I was going to a church, and a particular pastor let me live in this particular house that was going to be another church, or like an extension of the church, basically. So, to get to the story as we move along, so that's like the foundation of where I was at. And to give you a little more background of the story, was that when I was living in this particular place, in this church, that it was going to be like an extension of the church, if not a second building of the church, I was living with a roommate, and he was living like, it's kind of weird to describe it, but he was living like in the back of me, like another room. So, to get things, going in the story, was that when we were about to sleep, and I think he had, or it was probably maybe a little bit after, and I think maybe it was a little bit after him, my roommate, at that time. His name was Yuri, from Honduras. I think, he presented to me a German Shepherd, which is kind of funny because I don't like big dogs. As a tall guy, I don't. And I think it was probably afterwards where he did that. But anyways, I think I hadn't met him yet. But when we were sleeping at night, and this was to my right. I heard a noise, and I knew because around this time it would get late, uh, later for the sun to go down, as we were in late spring headed to summer. So earlier in the evening, I would notice that there was kids playing around, but the thing was that as we were going to go to sleep, like around late hours, 10 or 11 o'clock p.m., was that, yeah, that I heard some noises. It was kind of weird, the noises, because it was coming diagonally to me. And the setting of the place was that it looks like it was a former junkyard, like two cars, separate parked diagonally to me to my right, and it just sounded like someone coming from the back, like either uh, an ET slash Gollum, if you've seen the movie series of the Lord of the Rings. So that's what I heard, like someone walking, like pluck, 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 making some kind of funny noise like that, and like slithering with his mouth or tongue. It was kind of strange, like, that sound. It was slithering out of his mouth and tongue, and like he was walking on water, or came from walking on wet water, and he like was turning around and looking at the cars, but at the same time it sounded like he had a tail and he was swishing it back and forth. That kind of sound like when you hear a dog wailing its tail, and he was just slithering back and forth. And I didn't bother asking my roommate Yuri because I thought he was like, sound asleep. So I decided not to bother him. But then I get up and I look, and there was no one. I didn't hear, like, basically the sound stopped as soon as I got up to go check. I didn't go really close to look at it, but then it stopped, which was kind of strange because it was going for a while, like a couple of minutes, somewhere like about 2, 3, maybe 5 minutes, that you could hear it for a long time. So then I go to, okay, I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, great, it stopped. So then I go and sit down and go back to bed and go back to sleep. I lay in my bed and I took my sheets in, but then suddenly, as soon as I laid back in bed, ready to go back to sleep, boom, you hear the sounds again of like this so-called ET slash Gollum midget again walking up, looking at the cars, slithering, tapping his 2 feet back and forth, and slithering with his mouth, or like spitting or something. Yeah, like he had something in his mouth. Basically spitting it and wagging his tail back and forth, walking around both of the cars, and maybe even scratching with nails or something on the mirror. I'm like, again, what the hell? So I quickly get up, look again, turn to my right, and then it stops again. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? As soon as I get up and look at it, it stops all of a sudden. So I go, this is not normal. This is not, something that you hear on a usual basis. So at this time, I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's, for the second time now this has happened, there's obviously nothing I can do about it. I didn't want to check because I can't remember that time. Either the lights on, or it was too far, or we had turned off the lights. But I was tired because it was late, and I really was tired. I want to go to sleep. So I go back to bed again, and I go to sleep, and then, as you know, quickly back again, boom, it started again, uh, either right away or a minute after I went to bed. But then when I decided to go to sleep because I didn't want to get up. I was awfully tired. It was a long day. But then the next day, as we were about to start our day, both me and Yuri, and he actually asked me first. He's like, "Hey, Walter, did you hear those strange noises? Those strange noises over here coming from the right?" He goes, "Yeah, I did." So I knew I wasn't the only one that heard that. He goes, "Yeah," because he tells me that I heard him too. I go, "Yes, yeah, I knew I wasn't alone. That I know I wasn't hearing things or going crazy." So that is what happened that first night of living there, um, in that so-called, what the pastor told me the time was going to be either the church, number one, or it was going to be another building that was going to be the extension of the church. What he told not only me but the whole congregation at the time. So that was very weird. It was very spooky. I have never heard anything like that before, and it was strange. And that is haunted story number one of many to come. But like I said to you guys, that I just want to mix it up a little bit. This is, just me sharing stories starting today, since it already is the month of October. Normally I talk about business, and you could still check my website at www.wsnbusinesssuccess.com if you want to get educated on ebooks and courses about personal development, and to learn more about business as well, where you could start your own business. And like I always say, I'll tell you the three things. That is, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I will see you guys and talk to you in the next video about the next haunted story. So that's it for now, and have a great day and good evening. Bye bye.